Once upon a time, in a cozy little village surrounded by rolling hills and a crystal clear river beneath, there lived a happy elderly couple named Sreekumar and Manisha. They had been married for over 40 years, and their love for each other was as strong as ever. They were inseparable, and their home was filled with laughter and joy. One day, tragedy struck. Manisha was diagnosed with a terminal illness. Sreekumar was devastated, but he stood by her side every step of the way. He held her hand through the sleepless nights and the endless rounds of chemotherapy, radiation, and other treatments. He never left her side, be it in home or in hospital, and he made sure that she knew how much he loved her. Despite Sreekumar's unwavering love and support, Manisha's condition worsened. She passed away peacefully in her sleep, while her beloved husband was nearby. Sreekumar was heartbroken. He had lost the love of his life, and he didn't know how to go on without her. She was his everything and everybody. Everywhere Sreekumar and Manisha used to go together, be it for shopping, be it for visiting a relative or a friend, or even for a leisurely walk. Now all of a sudden everything came to an abrupt end. Sreekumar's days were spent in a melancholic hajj, reminiscing about the years he had spent with Manisha. He had loved her deeply, but he had also taken her for granted, as one often does with the familiar and the constant. He remembered the little arguments, the petty disagreements, and the moments when he had chosen pride over love. Now, all he had left were the could-haves and should-haves that haunted his mind like ghosts. Manisha had been a remarkable woman. She had a smile that could light up a room and a heart that was overflowing with kindness. She had been Sreekumar's anchor, his confidant, and his greatest source of joy and support. She was very simple and humble too. Together, Sreekumar and Manisha had built a life filled with love and laughter, raising one wonderful son and sharing countless adventures. But all of that was now a distant memory, and Sreekumar was left with the empty space she had left behind. As Sreekumar sat on his sofa in the drawing room, staring at an old photograph of Manisha, he couldn't help but dwell on the could-haves and should-haves that filled his mind. With unbearable pain, Sreekumar remembered that Manisha's top priority was always her little family. She was a peculiar kind of personality that she always found happiness in the ecstasy of her husband and son only. The regret that gnawed at him was a relentless companion, a shadow that darkened even the sunniest of days. The could-haves were the missed opportunities, the moments when he could have expressed his love more profoundly, the times he could have held her hand a little tighter or whispered words of affection a little more often. Sreekumar remembered the day when Manisha had asked him to arrange a driving class for her to drive a car, but he had declined, citing her day-by-day deteriorating health condition that needed his attention. Now, with profound grief, Sreekumar thinks that he could have done something to fulfill her ambition of learning driving but could not. It is a lifelong lingering pain. The should-haves were the regrets of things left unsaid and undone. Sreekumar recalled the times when he had been too proud to apologize after a heated argument, allowing resentment to fester instead of seeking reconciliation. He thought about the dreams they had shared in their youth, dreams that had been deferred and eventually forgotten as life's demands took precedence. He also regrets that he should have helped more in her daily routines. He never thought that her life would come to an abrupt end like this. As the years had passed, Sreekumar had grown complacent in his love for Manisha. He assumed that she knew how much he cared for her, but he had forgotten that love needed to be nurtured and reaffirmed, not taken for granted. He had lost sight of the fact that each day was a gift, an opportunity to create more beautiful memories together. As usual, one autumn evening, Sreekumar visited the graveside behind his home, where mortal remains of his dearest Manisha were consigned to flames and buried. The sun cast long shadows on the gravesite, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves overhead. Sreekumar knelt by her grave, tears welling up in his tired eyes, and he began to speak to the cold, unyielding earth that held her. Manisha, he whispered, his voice trembling, I'm so sorry for all the could haves and should haves. I wish I could turn back time and do things differently. I wish I could hold you in my arms once more and tell you how much I love you. As he spoke, the weight of his regrets pressed down upon him, and Sreekumar wished for a chance to make amends. But it was too late. Manisha's gentle spirit could no longer hear his words. The next morning, as Sreekumar gazed out of his window at the radiant scenery, a profound realization washed over him. He understood that he could not change the past, but he could shape his future. He could learn from the mistakes of his past and honor Manisha's memory by living a life filled with love, gratitude, and kindness. Sreekumar decided to dedicate the rest of his days to acts of love and kindness. He reached out to old friends he had neglected for too long and mended broken relationships. He started a new YouTube channel in fond memory of his beloved wife, Manisha, to motivate and inspire mankind across the globe. He also carried on with the legacy of Manisha in helping those in need, and he made it a point to express his love and appreciation to those who were still part of his life. Despite all these, the painful memories of Manisha can never be forgotten. However, he realized that he should honor her memory not through sorrowful regrets, but by embracing the love and compassion that had defined their relationship. One day, as Sreekumar was tending to his garden, a young couple approached him. They had recently moved to the area and were inquiring about the history of his home. Sreekumar welcomed them warmly, sharing stories of the life he had built there with Manisha. The couple, touched by Sreekumar's kindness and wisdom, invited him to a dinner at their home. Sreekumar accepted the invitation and went there. However, he could not enjoy the company and laughter of new friends gathered there due to the painful memories of his beloved Manisha. Over time, Sreekumar's circle of friends expanded, and he found some solace in being surrounded by people who cared about him. However, he realized that no other love in the world can replace the love, care and affection of his dearest Manisha. But, of course, the new friendship can reduce the mental agony to some extent. Sreekumar cultivated a habit of visiting Manisha's gravesite in the backyard of his home as frequently as he could to update her with all the time-to-time news about his personal life and all ups and downs of his son's life. The same routine he repeated in front of her photo also. Sreekumar had learned a valuable lesson that love is a precious gift, and it should never be taken for granted. The could-haves and should-haves could not change the past, but they could serve as a reminder to cherish the present and to love everybody wholeheartedly while there was still time. As Sreekumar watched the sunset from his home porch, he felt a deep sense of contentment as he knew that Manisha was with him in spirit, guiding him towards a life filled with love and gratitude. Sreekumar feels her presence all the time like a shadow, and he speaks to her all his sorrows and joys as if she is alive and accompanied. This gives him some courage and solace to move on. The story of Sreekumar and Manisha served as a reminder that life is too short and unpredictable. It can cease to exist at any time. Hence, it is very important, especially for life partners, to intensify their love, care and affection while they are alive, as there is no use in repenting later when one is gone. The moral of the story is that love is a precious treasure that should be cherished and nurtured every day.